Hello, my name is Jennifer Long from Sew a Story. I'm an early childhood educator turned Riley Blake fabric designer, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a quilted witch's hat, fully lined. Are you ready? Let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is download the pattern. You're going to want to go to the Sew a Story website. We'll put the link in the bio and you can grab the pattern from there. The next thing that you're going to want to do is just make sure you have all of the requirements that are on the inside of the pattern and on the back list. Then we're going to do a couple of things to prep before we get started. You're going to print the downloadable templates. It comes in two different sizes. We have a children's size quilted witch's hat and also an adult size. This is the adult size, which fits me, but I'm going to make today with you one of the children's sizes, which is up over here. So I have already downloaded and printed all of the templates, and they're going to be printed on your home printer. And one thing you want to be aware of when you're printing any templates on your home printer is that you do check the 1-inch marker. There's a 1-inch marker there, and you want to make sure that it is the size that it says. And you can check the settings on your printer if it's not coming right out. You want to have it make sure that it's not fit to print, that it's print at actual size. So you're going to cut out your templates and cut out on the solid line. Then you're going to see this wonderful overlap line here, and that's how you're going to know how to overlap your pattern. I've already done that to my child's size pattern, so it looks like this. The top of the pattern and the bottom of the pattern looks like this. So you're going to take those templates and you're going to prep two sides of fabric. The outer part of the fabric uses fusible fleece and your chosen fabric. I'm using my collection with it's called Little Witch from Riley Blake Designs, and it has all of these adorable witches hats on the main print. So I am using this fabric and a little bit different here. And what I've done already is I've done fusible fleece on the back, and I wanted it to be quilted, so I did a quilting all over the fabric. I did it over the whole piece of fabric, and then I cut out my pieces. So it looks like that from the template, and then the other side is like this. You're going to do the same kind of prep for the inner lining of your hat. So you can see it's a fully lined hat, and on the inner lining I'm using a product called Craft Extra Firm Stabilizer, and it's going to give that hat, it's just standing on its own. Look how wonderful that is. So this product right here is thin, and it's going to be on the lining. You're going to prep them the same way and cut out those pieces. So you should have two fronts and two brims, one of the quilted side and one of the lining. Then we're going to take it over to our machine and sew this hat. You're going to see how easy and fast it goes together. I don't think you're going to be able to make just one. Okay, so what we're going to do is take that quilted witch's hat, the template on the top part of it, and we're going to fold it right sides together. So I'm going to fold that right sides together, and this is the outer piece, the outside. So I'm going to take pins. Now, pins are your friends. You're going to want to make sure that you do lots of pinning here, just so that it doesn't shift around when you're sewing. I've already done all of the math for you so that this witch's hat is going to fit completely on the brim, so you won't have to worry about any kind of circle confusion when you are sewing it together. So you do want to make sure that you have a nice 1/4-inch seam allowance when you sew, and that this pattern is just cut accurately as well. So I already have that pinned here. I'm going to take it over to my machine, and I'm going to sew that 1/4-inch seam allowance on the whole top. Now I won't repeat this and show you the lining, so I just want to tell you a little tip and trick here right now. When you are doing the same thing to the lining, I would leave an inside opening, quite a large inside opening, so you can turn the whole hat out through it. So on the lining piece only, make sure that you do leave an opening here, but on this outer part, you're going to sew the whole thing. Okay, let's take it over to the machine and sew this together. And then I'm just going to take my time and sew through all of the layers. Never over my pins. And we will reverse again. And there we go. So I'm going to cut my threads. And one thing that I do like to do, especially at this top, and I'm just going to do it at the same time as I cut my thread, is you can see how this, all this batting here is extending over. I'm going to actually just snip that down at the same time as I'm taking that thread. And I'm going to make sure that you've cut your extra threads on both sides, on the top and the bottom. And one thing that I like to do when I'm doing this is I do kind of like to angle my corners just slightly on both sides so that you don't have all that extra bulk there. Good stuff. Let's take this and turn this inside out. Oh my goodness, it's coming together already. And I'm going to use my favorite pair of hemostats with Riley Blake Designs, and I'm going to push this out. So I'm going to use them to help push this tip out. Look how that pushes out so nicely. Excellent. And so there you go. We're almost there. Take a look at this. We almost have our witch's hat already, and we're just going to make sure that everything is where it needs to be so the hat looks correct. Then what I'm going to do is bring my pins back over, and I want to mark out a quarter on each piece so that I can match my quarters first. So let's take this and fold it in half. Good. And what I'm going to do is just put a pin at that quarter mark here. Good, so I'm just going to put a pin at this quarter mark just so I know where it is on the inside. And then here, again, then I'm going to open that up and I'm going to match those together. And I'm going to make a mark on these quarters. I'm going to do the same thing as this for the hat, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to match it all up together, and that's where the real magic happens. No pun intended. Okay, so then we're going to take the top of the witch's hat. They have a back seam here, so let's just use that as one of the quarters. And I'm going to put it there and make sure I find the other quarter. And then I'm going to match that back seam to that front pin. And I'll mark those two out as well. 1 and 2, perfect. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to take that back seam and mark it onto this one spot, and I have it all there. So I'm going to take this hat and turn it upside down and put that center coming through it. I'm going to take that back pin and the back seam, and I'm going to line them up together, and I'm going to pin them together. And I'm going to do that for each of those quarter marks, but I want to just do it halfway first. I'm going to do the halfway mark first, match these two orange pins together in the exact spot. So the pinning here, don't try to skimp on the pinning because that's really the important part to the process. I'm going to match those two quarter seams, quarter marks, and then I'm going to do the same thing here and mark these two quarter marks. And then, this is where your cutting was really important. We're going to work our way around, and we're going to just put at least 2 pins in between each of those quarters. So I'm just going to, this is, you can bend the brim if you want to, so that this is a straight sewing, but this is a curved one. So you're going to want to bend that brim and place a pin in there and the other one, and we're going to repeat that between every mark. So again, between this two, you're going to bend that brim just to line it up and put at least 2. You're welcome to do more. Always the more the merrier. You can never have too many pins. And I'm using my very favorite pretty pins here. And I'm going to keep continuing this process all the way around. All right, and we're going to do the last pin here, and look how perfectly that went. So everything is completely in line here. It's all pinned. You're going to notice that your brim is pulling back just like this, which is totally fine because we haven't relaxed it or anything yet. And we're going to take this to our sewing machine and sew. I'm going to start at that back seam. So this back seam over here, that's where I want to start. I'm going to go back and forth here. I'm going to sew all the way around a nice 1/4 inch seam, and you want to make sure that you're catching both of your, all of your layers basically. So everything from the front, everything from the back, you're going to go all the way around and keep your seam allowance going. I am going to show you how to work this fabric because you do need to kind of keep moving this brim to keep this nice and flat. So let's work on that together. All right, so I'm going to insert that into the machine and lower the foot down. I'm bringing my magnetic pin cushion here just so I can place my pins quickly and easily. I'm going to start on that seam, and again I'm going to just reverse so it's anchored. Now you can see how I have this part flat. I'm good for about another inch. All I'm really concerned about is going from this needle to the next pin. It's a very small area, so that's all I have to think about, having it nice and smooth. Don't worry about the rest right now. You're going to take it and you're going to go towards the next pin, and then you're going to stop. Take that pin out, and you'll need to readjust your hat. So here again to my next pin, I'm going to have to move this hat so that the next section becomes flat. So you see how the next section is flat, and we're going to work our way around. It's as simple as that. We're going to continue that every time we're moving around the circle. We keep to flattening out that brim. So we're just going to keep it flat as we go. And then again, see how it gets curved here? Don't worry about that. You just keep flattening out this part of the brim, and then you keep sewing around. And here we are on just the last one all the way, and you can see how it just evenly went through all the way, so we have no bunching. And I'm going to go back and forth a little bit here just to finish it off. And okay, are you ready for the real excitement to begin? Here we go. I can hardly contain myself. Look, there is our witch's hat, not lined yet, but there it is. If you want to give it, you can see how it worked so nicely around that circle. So as long as you keep your seam allowances and follow those templates, you're going to get a perfect hat like this. You can take it over here, and you can give yourself little snips inside that seam allowance all the way around if you have any kind of bunching, but this is a good time to just check and make sure that it caught all the layers, and we are good to go. So we have the outer lining, or so the outer part of the hat ready to go, and I've already prepped the lining in the exact same fashion, just like this. With this product here, like I said, the Craft Extra Firm, and I've left that opening. So I've left this open here. What I'm going to do here is now turn this part, the lining, inside out, and I'm going to seat it inside of this hat. I'm actually going to push this all the way out so it sits really nicely. I'm going to use my hemostats to do that. And I'm going to push that tip all the way out to the top, and I'm going to pull it. Now I'm going to find where my back seam is, and I'm going to match my back seams so that they're both there, and I'm going to pull it down over. Good, and just make sure it's all the way down. Good. And then again, pinning is your friend, so let's bring those pins over here. It's a strong magnet, and then we're going to bring those pins over, and we're going to start the same way, and we're going to just pin all the way around so it's nice and even. Just want to make sure it's all the way down. What I think I'm going to do underneath here is just give it a little push, I think with my hemostats, just so that it's all the way in. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Yes, excellent. Okay, and then I'm just going to lay it flat, pin it all the way around, and then I'm going to sew all the way around the perimeter. So we'll just start with the pinning again. All right, so we have a couple more pins to do. And as you can see that it's lined up perfectly all the way around the witch's hat. And we can just double check on this side as well to make sure we've caught everything, because we're about to do almost the final step on our sewing machine. And we'll just check that out. So we're going to go around, and we're not going to leave any holes. We're going to sew around the entire perimeter at your good 1/4 inch. You can even go a little bit more. So you can even go to a 1/2 inch if you want, to make sure you catch every single layer, and you don't have to worry about leaving an opening because you do have this one that's right here. So let's take it to the machine, and let's do our seam all the way around this hat. Okay, so getting started again, I want to go forward and back. And I'm gonna go right all the way around, catching all these layers. Good, and just taking your time to work around this hat. This is gonna be so fun. The reward is coming, just wait. And then just finishing it up, we're gonna go back again at the end. And are you getting ready for the excitement? All right, I'm gonna cut my threads away. Now, this is a curved seam, so we do need to clip all of this all the way around. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I am gonna just make little clips all the way through all these layers. Do be careful that you aren't going through your seam allowance, but you wanna make sure that you're close enough so it does have a nice curve in your brim. Now, if you did a bigger than a 1/4 inch seam allowance, if let's say you did a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you might want to take some time and trim it because it'll add a little bit of extra bulk, but you can always top stitch that down after too. All right, so we're almost there. Just going to be finishing the last little bit. We made our way all the way around again. For the last time, we've gone all the way around. And there's a couple more to do, 2 more. Good. Okay, are you ready? So we have that opening here. We're gonna get this fully lined witch's hat. So all you need to do is just open it up. You're gonna pull this hat through and you can start to work it through. Now you can use your hands, or of course you can use your hemostats, and we're gonna use them in a minute, but I'm just gonna turn it totally inside out. I'm gonna get this point turned inside out too. And before I have it too deep in, I'm gonna just make sure it's nice and pointy and push it all the way out. Good, so that's out. All right, here we go. So it looking like a witch's hat yet? We'll see. You're gonna open it up, get that brim out, and then you're gonna push this lining all the way up inside the hat. Who else is so excited? This is so exciting. Okay, I'm gonna push it in all the way to the tip, and then I'm gonna take my hand into the center of this hat, and I'm actually gonna push out all along the edge. So I'm gonna take these hemostats and I'm gonna go all the way out along this edge. Now, all of the hats that you see here, all the samples that I've made, I haven't needed to even do a top stitch, but you are definitely welcome to do a top stitch just like this if you want to. But as you can see on all of the hats here, that I haven't done that and it isn't necessary. So it's up to you what you would like. We have a lot inside of this hat that is stabilizing it and will help it to hold its shape. All right, we're almost out and around everything. Gonna keep pushing it up. Okay, so here is our witch's hat. Look at this adorable children's witch's hat. We're not quite done yet. I'm gonna take it over to the iron. And I am going to just press this flat, especially this edge here. So I'm just gonna take it and just make sure that it's nice and flat all the way around. And then you're gonna want to just make sure it's nice and even, that you haven't had any openings, that you've caught all of your layers. So as you can see, we've caught all of our layers well. You can see how nice and flat this is coming around the edge. So it's wonderfully fit. And there's the inside of our hat as well. Look at this, everyone. I'm so excited to share this with you. Now, if you open and look inside, you will see that you still have this opening. So please feel free and welcome to whip stitch it together inside by hand if you like. You can have fun embellishing this hat inside the pattern. It comes with lots of florals and other options here. It comes with a tie and other florals, so you have lots of ideas if you want to decorate your hat and wrap it around, or you can just leave it as simple as this. So, my name is Jennifer Long from Sew a Story, and I am so grateful that you are here today with me, and I hope you have fun making tons of witches' hats. Until next time, see you again soon.